Yeah.
Right, we're going. We are live.
Are we live? Are we actually live until I hit this button?
It's saying you're streaming now. Yep, the live stream has come up. And
So it's telling me it's been live streamed. I don't get a choice.
Live.
Oh, I can just leave the meeting.
Yeah. You don't get a choice in the matter. Right, so that should now be up. Oh, hang on, no. I won't be able to find it if I'm on Grid Talk, will I? I need to find it if I'm on
Find it on whatever you want.
There we go. Got it. Right. And we're live.
Should hijack it. Why have you done that?
Done what?
It's just enlarged itself to full volume.
I didn't do that.
Oh, it's just playing silly buggers. No, I think I've got something on my finger that's making it go. Nice that we're doing capitalization there, Tom, and punctuation.
What?
Or spelling.
What?
With the hellos.
Oh yeah.
I'm eating edamame beans.
Nice. Yeah. I have neck and back problems.
Why? Do you get burnt?
No. Burnt? No, it's a posture corrector thing. I'm trying to sort out my back and neck.
Jesus, I need that. My back is screwed.
Yeah. Yeah. Physiotherapist was saying how much I slouch. So I'm like, yeah, okay, but I should probably do something.
So hang on, this is the physiotherapist you did because of your incident.
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, led to the neck injury. And now she's on about posture.
Yeah.
Did you like your own thing? I feel like I've got to like it now.
Yeah, I'll put a dislike if you want. Right, should we start this podcast?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to put the Grid Talk on. We're live. There we go. Go on.
Cool.
I need to fart. I just farted.
No, I haven't updated it.
Next year.
And I never will.
Next year.
Maybe. I can be asked.
Matey, your sound does not match your visuals.
Is that Clark going slowly? It is. That's Clark.
Mine.
Yes.
Oh God! Michael Schumacher.
You're opening your mouth.
Oh, well.
It doesn't sound like it's coming out.
George Russell is the Formula 2 champion.
Oh, I've got to talk about him today. Fucking hell.
What, Hinchcliffe?
No, George Russell.
Oh, okay. So he's rubbish, is he?
He's very rubbish. He's very rubbish. What? Oh, I've got to talk about him, and he did nothing wrong, and he wasn't a dick. Oh, what is going on?
You could maybe criticise him by saying that he spun out in Q3 and that he was asking for team orders. I mean, he wasn't asking for team orders, to be fair, but
no, he was just checking that there wasn't team orders, along with Hamilton.
Yeah.
Actually, they both said. Well, that got really confused me because I'm sure I heard Russell asking about team orders, and they said no race, and they went, "Oh, that's Hamilton." I was like, "I'm sure that's not Hamilton," but then Hamilton did do it later. Anyway.
Did he? I didn't hear him later. I didn't hear him asking about team orders.
Maybe I didn't then.
I know Russell definitely did, but he was just asking. So, are we racing or are we securing the 1-2? Basically, what Damon Hill did in Jordan that time, and then secured him the 1-2 in Belgium, which would have been Ralf Schumacher's first win.
It doesn't make much difference with them, does it?
No,
it's the 1-2.
I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but with the Mercedes strategy was all geared up to protecting the 1-2. It wasn't a racy strategy at all from them, given that they started 1-2. So I think if George Russell hadn't been there, then we certainly would have seen a different strategy from Lewis Hamilton. But we'll get onto that, I'm sure. So a good race. There was a sprint. Do we want to talk about the sprint first, or should we lump the sprint in with
hang on. Yeah, let's talk about the sprint, so then we can go through, and then we can talk about qualifying.
Yeah,
I mean, bare fucks. Sorry, I'm eating edamame beans. Oh, Jesus, the edamame bean ran out of my hands. Can I say a more middle class thing than that?
I don't even know what edamame beans are. So.
Look, they're like peas.
Oh, okay. Is that like?
Have you never been to what's the? Oh, this is how long I've been in England. Wagamama's.
Yes, I've been to Wagamama's.
Never done with beans there.
Okay, well, I've only been to our Wagamama's like twice.
Anyway, we should talk about. I forgot how to do a podcast. It's been so bloody long.
Yeah, sorry about not doing one for Australia. Wow, Austin and Mexico. There's it's my fault again.
Is it?
And basically, I said to Carl, I can do this 2-hour slot, and that's all. And Carl couldn't do that 2-hour slot. So
No.
That's how busy my life has been. So
Yeah.
how dare you not turn your life upside down for me for that 2 hours? Slot?
I've been at work pulling my hair out. Literally, I'm going bald. But yeah, no, it's been interesting. So anyway, so we had qualifying. That was exciting. On a Friday. I quite like having qualifying on a Friday. Am I the only one?
I like Friday qualifying. I mean, I was at a show the Friday night. I was seeing a show. You might have heard of it. It's called Murder Ballad.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that was got your mate in it that was in your Murder Ballad, wasn't it?
Yeah, I directed Murder Ballad in 2018, and 2 people that were in that were did the same show again.
Nice.
And yeah, it was...
Not in the same theatre, though.
No, different theatre. Same town, different theatre.
Okay.
But yeah, mine definitely looked better because the venue was better.
Yeah.
And I'll keep my other opinions to myself.
Right. Anyway, moving on before you get done for slander.
Won't be done for slander. It was a good show.
Anyway, qualifying. We should talk about racing for Formula One. No one cares about your love life. Not your love life, your theatre life.
My theatre life.
No, your theatre life. Right. So qualifying. That was a bit of a shambles, but K-Mag put the fast lap in. That's the end of that.
Ferrari ballsed it up twice. Nearly got chucked out in Q2, and then. Ferrari effectively could have potentially won George Russell the race because Leclerc being out on intermediates when he should have been on softs was slowing up Perez and Hamilton. So as a result, that meant that George put that lap in to get third. Then he spun out, kept his third place, obviously, because it was raining harder. That made no difference to the final standings, to be honest. Nobody would have improved anyway. Hamilton may have improved. Perez may have improved a couple of places, but nothing major.
So I think it was all pretty much everyone was in the rightful places and where they deserve to be in some ways.
Yeah.
And K-Mag, people and I don't think anyone has said this, but K-Mag being in that position, he still managed to make it to Q3.
Yeah. And the thing is, he was quick. He was in the other sessions. He was quick. He was 7th in Q1 and 7th in Q2.
Yeah. So
he deserved to be there. He
deserved to be there, and the fact that rain stop play in the cricketing terms. Look, fair play. I do think that it just does seem pointless when the rain comes out, everyone just stops and gives up.
Yeah, if they'd set a lap in the dry, then there's no point going out in the wet because you won't go faster.
Yeah,
no matter
what
tires you've
happens.
Got. Yeah, you just won't be able to be faster. So unless your one lap you did on the dry was you end up doing 5 spins, and then then you might have a chance. But yeah, I mean the sprint was okay. It's all right.
Yeah, it was nice to watch. I quite like the sprints. I don't know if there's any point to them, but I quite like them.
I don't think it's any coincidence that every race we've had on a sprint weekend has been an enthralling race. And they have been. You look at every time we've had a sprint race, the race itself has been good.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a coincidence. I do think it does add something to the show. Plus, I think
I just don't like it where it's random, though. I like every other weekend do a sprint race. Not just 3. It just seems a bit random.
I quite like the variety of having it. I think 6, which is what they're doing next year. That's for me is.
Do we know where they are this year?
No, you won't know yet. But I think that's about right. That puts you to 24 races and 6 sprints, which is a nice round 30 for races. Some that are worth more points than others. So I'm kind of okay with that. I do want to see them change the format though, so that it doesn't set the grid for the race. I think qualifying should set the grid for the race. The sprint is something completely separate. Now, whether that means that you mix the grid up a little bit with a top 10 reversed or whatever you do, doesn't really matter. But even if they just keep it as it is, that way people are actually going to fight for it.
I feel there needs to be some sort of jeopardy or some reason to do it, or higher point or something. Because Max didn't really try because there was no point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the big points are on Sunday. So if you want
to protect the car.
If you're risking, going out in the sprint and then starting at the back.
I think you should have on a sprint day. You should have more points on a sprint race and then less points on the actual race?
No, I disagree with that.
Do you know? Okay.
Yeah, the Grand Prix is the main event. It's the grand prize. You can't take away from.
Thanks for explaining the French to me there.
It's just that's what it is. It's the grand prize.
Thanks. So does that mean your previews on Grid Talk are prize views?
Well, I don't call them. I always call them previews in the literal sense. I don't call them Prix views.
Prix views, because that's got a whole new connotation.
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
So if you want to go to my OnlyFans page, oh my god, that's 2 podcasts out of 3 I've mentioned OnlyFans.
And even before this started, you mentioned your OnlyFans. Jesus Christ, Tom.
Yeah.
Like, we get it. You've got an OnlyFans, mate.
OnlyFans, that's a different thing. It's
like the Bake Off version.
Yeah, that's my cooking channel. It's OnlyFans. That's all we.
Someone has got an OnlyFans account. I am sure that it's just like cooking porn. Someone's got to have OnlyFans.
We've got to copyright that. We've got to copyright that. Write that down and put in the patent now. Patent pending, everyone.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. You can't have it. It's ours.
No, Adam, I'm not going to be finally admitting George Russell is awesome. We will talk about that later. And outside Interlagos, where should the sprint race be held?
That's a good question. I'm just going to bring up the calendar so I can be informed. Let's have a look. So we'll go through the race as we're still talking about the sprints. I think you've got to. What do you want? What do you want? Yeah, we're talking about sprints here. What do you want from a sprint race? What type of track do you want? So we want tracks that promote good racing and overtaking, side by side action, so that people when they've got nothing to lose are going to go for it. So putting it into Singapore is not going to help. No. So if we go through the tracks, I'll name the tracks one by one, and you just say yes or no. Okay. So I've got 6 of them. No, Bahrain, yes, possibly, because it's quite a fun track. For me, Bahrain is absolutely a sprint venue. Yeah, but I don't think it will be a sprint venue because there's no fans there, and the whole point of the flans. Yeah, there's no flans there. They don't sell flans in the Middle East. There's no fans there, so the whole point of the sprint is that it engages everyone at the circuit for the 3 days, and it makes every day worth it for the fans. So I don't think Bahrain will get a sprint, though I think it could do and should do. Yeah. Saudi Arabia. Trying to think of that. Well, it depends on which track they're on, because we never know what track. Well, do we know which track we're on now? It's the same one. That's going to be no. Yeah. Too dangerous for me. Yeah. Too dangerous. Yeah. Too much damage. I thought they were putting a new track in. Was that? Yeah, they're building a purpose-built facility, but I don't think they've even started it yet. I think it's going to be staying. It's going to be staying there for a while. Australia. No. It's a street circuit thing, even though it's not. But you know what I mean. Yeah. Imola. We had one there this year. Yeah. No. Terrible track for that. No. Miami. Welcome to Miami. No, because it's a street track. Yeah. No, there's nowhere to overtake. It's a mess of a track. Until they sort out the car park, there's never going to be a great track. I think they're redesigning that this year, aren't they? So I'm not sure. I've not heard much from Miami since it happened. To be honest, I even forgot it was on the calendar. Yeah. I played F1 2022 for the first time today, and I was going through the calendar list, and it's like, oh, Miami, I forgot about that. So yeah, Spain. Barcelona. That's actually not a bad one. It's not a great track, but it's not great bad for overtaking. But I think a sprint might. Yeah, and it's got quite a fan base there, and yeah. I'd say Spain. I would say you could do. Monaco, absolutely not. Never in a month of Sundays. Why not? No. Azerbaijan. You could do Azerbaijan. It's a great track. You could do Azerbaijan. Although, yes, but when you go through the castle section or whatever they called it. Yeah, but that's just one section of it. You've got. I know, but everyone's going to be like, no, go on. No, I think Azerbaijan will work, but we'll put it on the main path for now. Canada. I don't really know that track. Yeah, I think Canada would do. I think Canada would do well for a sprint race. Oh, that's the one around like the lakes, isn't it? Yeah. Is that the one? Yeah. Yeah, it's same as like Albert how Park, I know this by geography rather than. Same as Albert Park, but better. Yeah, because I've been to both. Just got to drop that in there again. I have to mention that at least once a month. Yeah. Silverstone. Well, it has hosted. Been there, done that. So, yeah, that's a yes. Austria. Yeah, I think you could.
Yeah,
well,
Austria could be great. Red Bull Ring.
Yeah, we have had one at Austria, so that works.
I don't know
France, no.
Is France still in there? I thought France had gone.
Oh, well, France was this year, but yeah, so we'll skip past France because that's gone now. It's not on the calendar next year.
Yeah.
Hungary.
No.
It's tough to overtake.
Hungary. Where's Hungary?
Hungary is the bowling ball one that we had last year, and this year was the one that Ocon won last year.
Oh yeah.
That's Hungary, and I'd say no for Hungary. No. I don't think Hungary's the right kind of circuit for it. It's too tight and twisty. Belgium.
That wouldn't be too bad, would it? Yeah,
maybe.
It's a maybe. It's not really. It's exciting one.
It's not served up a lot of great races recently, so that's probably a maybe, to be honest. Zandvoort, I don't think Zandvoort would suit.
Do you not think that?
No, it's too hard to overtake there. I think it's very much a follow.
But it would be a great one to have for spectators.
For the spectators, absolutely. I think it probably will get one at some point, but it's not ideal. Italy.
No.
In theory, it's good for it.
This Monza, not Imola.
Monza, yeah. In theory, it's good for it, but the one they have had there has been terrible.
Yeah.
Singapore, no.
No, even though I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Japan, no.
I don't know Japan circuit too. Really. I do. Yeah, I do. It was on this year. It was like 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
The last time we did a podcast.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, that'd be it then.
Yeah, that's a no for me.
No.
And Aaron makes a good point about Spa, saying that it would only be about 8 or 9 laps.
But then hang on. So the thing that we haven't liked about Spa is that it's been a bit shit. But then with that change in the season now, and putting it so early, I think it could be different.
Maybe.
I think if you put it in the summer, it could be a different vibe. Because it's nearer the summer break now, isn't it? Or earlier in the year, I can't remember which.
Yeah, I think so. Austin, I think Austin would be good for a sprint race.
Austin would be great. Sota.
Yeah. Mexico, I mean, it's a pretty nothing circuit for me.
I quite like Mexico. I was talking to Laura about it, and it's like the one circuit that we'd probably want to go to. Because you can get great views from pretty much everywhere, and
the trouble is with Mexico is the air's so thin that you can't get close to the car because
because it's so far up a high mountain, isn't it?
And it's 2,000 feet in the air.
So we're meant to be choosing 6. I think we've chosen 3. So
no, we've got 5.
Have we?
And in Brazil, I'd say absolutely Brazil. It's the best,
one we just had.
The best venue for a sprint race. So that makes you 6. So there we go. There you go, Formula One. If you're listening, Ross Brawn.
And I'm guessing we're not going to do Abu Dhabi.
No.
What about China?
Oh, that's back on next year, isn't it? Do you know what? China's a possibility. It's not a terrible
Las
circuit.
Vegas, baby.
No.
China's back on.
Yes. Yeah, China is back on. But I heard there's possibility it's going to be cancelled because they're not easing up their COVID restrictions anytime soon. There's still zero tolerance on COVID. Brilliant. It's just wrecking their economy. But hey-ho.
They've got enough people in there. It's grand.
I mean, again, even if we do go to China, I don't know why they worry because it's not like anyone goes to the Chinese Grand Prix either. I mean, it might be a different story now with Zhou, but
I think it might be slightly different. But it's quite fun. Like over here, we're getting tested at work every 2 days.
Are you really?
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays we get tested.
I genuinely don't remember the last time I did a test.
Yeah, that's part of the thing, and we're all meant to be wearing masks. About 3 people are. That's it. Everyone else they're not even chasing us anymore. They used to chase us around sets going, you gotta wear a mask. I'm like, no. We were like, no, we just carry on regardless. No one is wearing a mask. We're just getting tested 3 times a week. So we get that. And we get antigen tested 2 times a week and the other one 3 times a week. Antigen 3 times a week and PCR 2 times a week.
Oh, okay.
So all good fun. And they were literally chasing me around today for it. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, right, that's the sprint race.
Yeah.
I mean, the actual race was grand. The inevitable happened. The fast ones that were at the back moved forward, and
K-Mag held on for a point though. If he'd have started from Poland the Grand Prix, he still wouldn't have got any points. No. So the fact that he held on in the race, in the sprint for a point, that's given that he didn't actually get a chance to do the race.
Does that mean they're above Williams now?
No. Yes, they're well clear of Williams.
Sorry, Alpha Tauri.
So
There was a point in it. We can't do points yet, surely.
The teams, we can do if you want. The team standings, Haas are 2 points clear of AlphaTauri.
There we go.
They are, and because AlphaTauri are on 35.
Shocking.
Aston Martin are on 50. Alfa Romeo are on 55. But yeah, we'll get onto that later, I'm sure. Cool. Right. So let's start at the back then. So you're going to do the evens. So Daniel Ricciardo, 20th place.
Danny Ricciardo obviously punted off K-Mag. Completely his fault. Otherwise, he was going good up until that point.
For the 5 corners he'd done. Completely his fault. 3-place grid drop for Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Done and dusted.
Oh, well, no one cares.
Yeah.
His last race, no one cares.
Yeah.
K-Mag,
yes. Hero to 0, but at least
it wasn't his fault either.
Yeah, at least he got the point in the bag on the sprint. Job was done for the weekend. Anything on the day was a bonus. And with the fast starting Mick Schumacher, they surely would have had a chance for points. No.
I think he might have even had a go for a point.
He was running at 8th.
Had he stayed in, I think he would have got where Stroll was. Or ended up anyway.
Potentially, Potentially, it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he would have got another point.
Aston, he was on the soft, so he would have followed the same strategies that people around him most likely, unless he decided to try and go long and lucked in on the safety car. It's possible he might have been fortuitous and ended up with soft tyres right at the end, like Alonso did. It's possible. He was starting obviously higher up than Alonso, but Alonso had a demon start and was up into the points quite early. Okay.
Norris obviously had a great.
This is birthday.
Bless the poor ill boy.
Yeah.
The ill birthday boy. Maybe he was having birthday cake. That made him ill.
Yeah. Lactose intolerant. He had a birthday cake.
Yeah. No, he's retard. Bless him. I mean, he screwed himself over and got a 10-second penalty anyway. Was it 10 seconds? 5 seconds.
Five, but yeah.
5-second penalty anyway.
But he also got some damage, so.
Yeah, and he got damage. And then, I think he got caught up in a bit of a mess there anyway. I know it was his fault, but he did get caught up in that mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yuki Tsunoda next up, and I was very confused about what happened to Yuki Tsunoda because he wasn't allowed to unlap himself, and I went back and listened to
what happened there?
So this is really odd. I went back and listened to the onboard because I was doing Grid Talk yesterday and this evening, just before this show, and so I was doing the Grid Talk show yesterday, and I listened to the onboard just before the show, and the onboard was basically Tsunoda saying, "Can I unlap?" And then AlphaTauri saying, "No, you can't unlap," and saying, "What the fuck? Why? Latifi and Albon have gone past me. Why can't I unlap?" Because they just overtook him under the safety car, basically. And the reason was because he went in and did a pit stop under the safety car. As he came into the pits, he passed the safety car, did his pit stop, dropped back behind the safety car again, and then came out and was in the same position. And because of that, the system that they were running ticked it off that he had already unlapped himself. So when it came to the unlapping, they said, no, he's already unlapped himself. He's not allowed to. So that basically they thought he was in 5th place. But he was lapped. So then he did incredibly well to get out of everyone's way at the restart.
Yeah, because saw him just go straight over.
Yeah, he was right in the way. So that's, that wasn't his fault. That was basically the only thing of interest in his race, in all honesty. There's nothing else he did.
So hang on. What would have happened if he just raced at that point? Because
So the computer system involved in the safety car effectively had him in position 5, but placed in like 17th because the leaderboard still had him at 17th.
Right.
Or 16th, I think he was, just ahead of Latifi and Albon. And then those two.
Can you imagine if he went? Yeah, I don't know what would have happened because he could have raced and caused havoc. Fair play him, just.
Yeah, well, at least the team and the driver knew what was going on, and they dealt with it. So. Anything I said
embarrassing from the FIA.
Anything I said against AlphaTauri, I take back. They did very, very well. So okay. Latifi for you. Good luck.
Does what Latifi does best and does nothing. I mean, good riddance. See you later, matey. Is it Logan Sargent going into his seat? Who's it? No.
So Logan Sargent needs a few super license points,
Which is why they put him out in Albon's car, which I can never work out why he was out in Albon's car.
Well, Latifi has paid for the car all season, whereas Albon is an employee. So Latifi cannot be taken out of that seat, as far as I'm aware, because he's paid for every session. So that's why it's always Albon that gets taken out. I think the rules say you have to take someone out of the car once for a young driver, every car. So I think he may have been out in one session, maybe. Mm-hmm. I think he may have been
out. Has his session already done?
Yeah, he's already had it. But Logan Sargent is just a few points short to get his super license. So by doing that session...
Oh, yeah, and then he's doing Abu Dhabi for 100 laps, 100k as well, isn't he?
Yeah, so that should get him that extra point. So it takes the pressure off the F2 finale. I think he needs to finish like 6th or something, maybe, to get that. So he should be all right, but you never know in Formula 2. But yeah, he should be in the car. I still think that's a bit of a mistake, in all honesty. I don't think he's the right person for the car. I think it's too early for him. I think he needs another year in Formula 2. It's good for the sport to have an American driver.
He's not going to win it. He's not going to win it.
No, but I'm just worried that he's going to go the way of Yuki Tsunoda. He's going to come in, he's going to make a few mistakes, and then lose confidence, and then going to be a bit of a downhill spiral.
Yeah, but at least he's in Williams. You're not in an AlphaTauri, which should be doing better.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe he'll do a Russell and kind of go under the radar for a couple of years and then turn up in a Mercedes. You never know.
Or like his teammate Albon, who's fucking flying. To be fair,
yeah,
he should not be.
Multi-year deal with Williams. Speaking of Albon, he's next up. I started on the hard tyres. I was only on them for 4 laps and then came in and changed off them for some weird reason. I don't know why.
That's not what hards are for.
Yeah, I think so. The theory that they said on Grid Talk was that he, because of the safety car, they abandoned the strategy because they could get a free stop. But for me, the problem with the hard tyre is that you've got your delta on the hard tyre is a lot bigger, so you're losing time all the time. Safety cars, starting on hard tyres, means that you're always in touch with the back of the field, so you can go longer without getting as far behind, so you could then...
That was the plan to go, because you've already had the hards, you do mediums.
The plan would have been hard medium.
Soft.
The plan would have been hard medium or even hard soft. So start on the hards, go as long as possible, hope for a late safety car, switch to softs, and then bag some points.
Yeah.
That would have been what they were hoping for. But say the safety cars and the VSCs would have helped that because it would have put him back in touch with the back of the field. So to then change off them, I guess they probably realised that the lap times were so slow that he was never going to make it work. So the safety car gave them an opportunity to rectify that strategic error. So that's probably what happened. But hey-ho. That was pretty much his race. Came ahead, just ahead of his teammate because of the late safety car. Done and dusted. Pierre Gasly.
Gasly.
Yeah,
Gasly.
Definitely.
What did he do? I feel he did some really good overtaking, but you said you weren't sure.
Yeah, I don't remember
who he's doing.
I don't remember him doing any overtaking. Could be wrong. He almost got a race ban for falling too far behind on the parade lap, but he didn't.
Oh, yeah, that was it. He goes race. Yeah, I don't know how he managed that one.
Which means now he's got to be treading on eggshells all the way until May.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that's when his first points come off in May. So he's got like about 5 races where he's going to have to be treading on eggshells.
And he's definitely at AlphaTauri next year.
No, he's at Alpine next year.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they were saying they thought he would try and get a penalty this weekend.
Oh, yeah, it's the Frenchies together.
Yeah, so if he picked up a penalty this weekend, got a race ban for Abu Dhabi, then he'd have a clean licence ready for a start at Alpine. That's why they were saying, because he's checked out, he doesn't care.
Can you imagine if he fucks up on Abu Dhabi and he starts on day one? Oh, sorry, Alpine.
Yeah, but then guess what happens? It'll be Jack Doohan in the car for the first race of the season.
Brilliant.
Mate.
Brilliant. Please fuck up Gasly. Please fuck up Gasly. Please fuck up Gasly.
Oh, would be funny. There was a couple of years ago, in 2020, when we were doing
story time, are we?
Yeah. There was Jack Doohan had a couple of bad races in F3 and was bitching and saying all kinds of stuff on the radio, and he just sounded like a little whiny bitch. And I was quite critical of him, and then laughed a lot when he had a completely pointless season and didn't score a single point. And then he really turned it around the following year, won the championship. I think it might have been second actually, but he certainly was going for the championship the following year, and then he had a really great season in F2, and now he's right on the brink of Formula 1. So fair play to him. He's turned it around. He's a solid driver now. So he will definitely be in the conversation for a 2024 seat.
Yeah.
Who's next? Mick Schumacher ran as high as 8th at one point.
How the fuck did he do that?
Yeah, he made a good start. Was obviously did well through the safety car. Verstappen stopped, went behind him after his damage. Ricciardo retired, Magnussen retired, and then plus he made up about 5 spaces as well. Running into points, looked like he was going to be on for a good race, and then Schumacher remembered who he was. And it's going to be, we'll keep an eye on Twitter during this show, because I have a feeling that it may well be announced that Nico Hülkenberg is in that seat during this show, potentially.
Can you imagine?
I think it will happen. Well, it certainly happened in the next couple of days.
There you go.
Even though Max Verstappen and Christian Horner are still currently trending on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Same
don't know
story.
why.
Oh, because he did the right thing, did the wrong thing. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a bit. Guan Yu Zhou. Yeah, not a clue. I know they were just running really poorly. The Alphas in the sprint, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah, they had great pace, but they just weren't going anywhere. Bottas was quite bullish. He reckoned there was points on the table, and he was right, to be fair to him.
Yeah, it was got in the final practices, they were quite good, but as soon as they got towards the race, I don't know. Anyway,
Formula racers are reporting that Nico Hülkenberg is expected to replace Mick Schumacher at Haas, and the announcement is coming on Wednesday.
We're 2 days too early.
Yeah. Autosport 8 hours ago said Haas set to announce Nico Hülkenberg as Mick Schumacher's replacement.
Jesus, Return of the Hulk.
Yeah, it's
Where's Hulk from?
Germany. Yeah, that's
that ticks the box, doesn't it?
Yeah, keeps the 1-to-1 sponsorship.
Ticks the box. Yeah. So where's Mickey Schumacher off to then?
There's no drives left. The Haas seat is the last seat. Just trying to see reports in Germany emerged this week. The linking Hülkenberg to Haas. Well, yeah, that's been linked for a long time. Also, the Günther Steiner may have dropped a bit of a clanger, because they were asking about. I said this on Grid Talk as well a few minutes ago. They were asking him about the postseason test and who would be in the car, and he said, "Well, that depends on who the driver is. If we make an announcement in the next few days, then we'll want to put that driver in the postseason test. So that means you're getting a new driver then."
Yeah.
And you've already said it's between Schumacher and Hülkenberg, so it's Hülkenberg. That's decided.
Tick.
Yeah.
I think it's a stupid idea.
I'm not particularly enamoured with that as a decision. I would rather see Schumacher, which I think.
Yeah, I would as well. What is Hulk could have had that drive ages ago. Why did he not?
Also, Hülkenberg's left Aston Martin. He was their reserve driver. He's left that.
Oh, maybe that's why.
Well, he's left. Well, he's left it. So
yeah, but he was at Aston. So...
Yeah, he's left Aston Martin of his own accord, which means he's obviously got something else lined up.
Yeah.
So yeah. Right. So that's.
I suppose he's just a super sub again.
Yeah, we were talking about Zhou, weren't we?
Yeah.
And then we've ended up getting back to Haas. Oh, yes, because I was talking about Twitter. Sebastian Vettel missed out on points. Final Brazilian Grand Prix, having won the World Championship there twice before. It's all very sad. But yeah, just didn't. Yeah, he just
because his teammates are cunt. Team orders. Here we go. Let's start the first. Actually, it wasn't team orders.
There was no team orders there.
No, it was just my teammates are cunt. That's literally it.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Oh, was it when him and Stroll had a bit of a coming together in the sprint? You've got Alonso saying, "Great, my race has been ruined by our friend out front," and then when Seb had the same thing with Lance, he just went, "Okay." He's just like, "I'm just not going to say anything. My mother always told me if you can't say anything nice, you don't say anything at all." So yeah,
his response was, "Okay."
Ever the gentleman. Lance Stroll, go for it.
I mean, I think I've already gone for it. He's a cunt that tried to take out his teammate twice and then jumped him. Get over yourself, you little jumped up prick. Right, anyway. I don't have anything nice to say. Sorry.
Sorry,
my mother
Canada.
obviously didn't tell me what Vessel said.
No, sorry, Canada. That's Stroll.
Yeah, imagine being Canada and your two drivers are Stroll and Latifi.
Who would you back? Out of those two, who would you back? Because Stroll's probably the better driver. Stroll's probably the better driver, but Latifi's just rubbish.
Yeah, but Latifi's nicer.
Yeah.
You know.
It's tough.
Who would you back out of Hamilton and Russell? Anyway, moving on.
We'll get onto that later.
One's a dick and the other one is Lewis Hamilton.
Alfa Romeo. So that was Valtteri Bottas. Did all right in the end. Starting quite far back. Made his way all up to 9th place. Good strategy under the safety car. Hung on to the back of the Alpines. Well, he's kind of falling away a little bit towards the end, but he was kind of in there all on his own. Lance Stroll was just behind him at the end, but he held, him and Vettel were just off him. Held him off 2 points, 2 important points for Alfa Romeo, as that puts them 5 points clear of Aston Martin. So that extra point against Aston Martin might prove to be pivotal come this weekend, depending on how competitive the Aston Martins are, of course. Yay. Esteban Ocon, team orders.
Team orders. Like bitching about team orders. I think the team orders were right, and then he just completely ignored them, and then got screwed over anyway by him.
So I think he was right in what he said.
Yeah, I need to get past Vettel.
Yeah, he needs to run his own race, but he won't hold up Alonso. But because of everything
which he didn't, to be honest.
But because of everything that happened on the sprint race, they were kind of they were just treating him like a naughty school child. I mean, he was definitely
But it wasn't even like it was in code. They were trying to make it out to be code, but it wasn't.
No, there's no code there. They were just like, I don't want you fighting Alonso. So basically, get the fuck out of his way.
And then he was like, I'm not going to fight Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you've got to run your own race. The same thing with Sainz in Silverstone, wasn't it? You've got to run your own race, and your teammate coming up, you can't just jump
Especially
out
when
of
your
his way.
teammate is behind you on points.
Yeah, and also
quite understand why the team orders was as they were.
It was because Alonso had a much bigger tyre offset. He had much better tyres. At that stage in the race, he was going to be quicker, and you saw it based on the finishing positions. Alonso finished a couple of places above Ocon, because he was allowed through. Well, he would have gone past anyway. But equally as well, the whole sprint race thing with those two, Ocon was rude. He was very bullish with Alonso, pushing him onto the curb. But words. No musical theatre reference. But
words in everlasting words. Irish
what the hell's that? Oh, okay. Yeah, don't know that one.
Boyzone. And I think of Bee Gees, to be honest, first, which means Isle of Man, which is ironically who I'm working with at the moment. Anyway.
Okay.
Not the Bee Gees. I'm working.
Okay.
In the Isle of Man.
I'm glad you clarified that. Okay.
I wish I was working with the Bee Gees.
Checo Perez, 7th. I should have been talking about Max Verstappen here, but I'm not.
You're not.
Which will be your job to talk about.
Team orders.
Yeah. Checo was in a position where that was his race to win, really, but again, didn't have the pace. He should have been the one picking up the pieces there, and I don't get what this loving is with Sergio Perez. I really don't. He's a great number 2, but he's certainly not anywhere near the talent of Max Verstappen. He never will be. He's not able to put in the performances.
Yeah, but then why were you complaining about this? When you you should have been Max Verstappen you've been talking about.
Because
sort of said, why would it matter?
For the team should have let them through. Well, the team tried to let them through, but Max was the one that didn't do that, didn't play ball. But
because Max is a dick, and we're talking about him.
But equally, I mean, I know Max had a tyre offset, but Perez didn't have the pace all day. He was being outpaced by Hamilton. He's being outpaced by Sainz. I thought Sainz was going to win the race at one point.
He's being outpaced by my dog.
Yeah, but Sainz obviously the tear off in the brake ducts. That just kind of that is what for me gave Russell the win. But obviously we'll get onto that when I get to talk about him because I'm getting the odd numbers.
Thank God for that. I don't have to talk about him.
So Max Verstappen.
Oh, I'd have to talk about this prick though. Yeah, I mean, team orders. I mean, I get where Max is coming from. No, I don't. Like, what was the advantage to him? I don't see the advantage to him.
Well, I mean,
it's not even his own ego because he's going from 6th to 7th. It's not like it was 1 and 2. It's 6th and 7th.
His season is not going to be defined by whether he comes 6th or 7th in the Sao Paulo Grand Prix.
No. And no one's going to question that either. So, I don't know. He was just another prick.
It was disappointing, definitely.
Very disappointing. It was just like, but then I was actually watching it. He was like 6 seconds behind or something stupid. Wasn't he? Or was it 600ths?
When is this?
On the final lap, he was about 2 seconds behind.
Yeah, he was a few seconds back. He was about 3 seconds back, I think.
Yeah, 3 seconds. It went up to 3 seconds. It was 2 seconds. It went 3 seconds. Like Max was pulling away on that final lap, and Perez couldn't keep up. So I think had Perez been in the 1 second frame, you can understand that. But it's just like how would Max is going to have to slow right down just to let him pass.
Yeah,
and
that's what they asked him to do.
Yeah, but they asked him quite late. Well, it seemed quite late.
Well, they asked
the penultimate lap, wasn't it?
They said to him the lap before, didn't they? And then they said to him,
and he was already 2.5 seconds up by that. By the time he finished, it was about what was he? It was 4 seconds between Perez and Verstappen by the time he crossed the line.
Yeah,
you know, the problem would have been had. No, I suppose there was another 4 seconds between Perez and Ocon, so he could have slipped in there.
Different story for Sainz and Leclerc, but but Max, it was
just a bit dickish.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Exactly. What the fuck?
Yeah, just the whole what he was going on about. Like, I have my reasons. We've been through this, and so apparently it's because of Monaco where Perez crashed to not allow Max Verstappen to get ahead of him.
Right.
Apparently, Max Verstappen has admitted privately, so there's no proof of this. But it'd be so funny. Can you picture this scenario, right? Max Verstappen let slip that the reason he didn't let Perez through was because Perez crashed on purpose in Monaco. The FIA get a hold of it, and then they do Red Bull for cheating, like they did with
McLaren.
With Michael Schumacher and McLaren.
Yeah.
Ferrari then get thrown out the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes. Red Bull get thrown out of the Constructors' Championship, lose the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes get a 1-2 in Abu Dhabi and then win the Constructors' Championship for a 9th year.
Brilliant.
I can't see it happening, but yeah. That's the conspiracy theory. Can you imagine F1 Twitter if that happened?
Can you imagine Netflix?
F1 fixing it for Mercedes again. Yeah, I can see that. And to be honest, if that trail of events happened, then I would probably think, yeah, that seems a bit fixed to me, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. Fernando Alonso.
Good
drive. Very good drive.
Very good drive.
Obviously,
I'm surprised he wasn't driver of the day.
Yeah, he's definitely in the shout for it. He was fortuitous with the safety car, but he did make up the places.
Yeah, but he did do it. Do you know?
Yeah. He put himself in the position to be fortunate, and he still made those positions up. He was allowed past Ocon. But he would have passed him anyway because of the tyre offset, which would have been vain to try and hold him behind. And then, the only thing I was a bit disappointed with was once he got ahead of Verstappen, or once he was clear of Perez, he didn't really make any more inroads on Leclerc. I thought maybe he might have been in for a podium shout. Given that Leclerc hadn't shown amazing pace and Sainz was out of the picture at that point as well, I thought that maybe he might have been pushing Leclerc and maybe even Sainz for a podium, but it wasn't to be. He didn't have the pace. But I suppose it does show where Alpine have come to. If fifth place, when they got the fourth best car, is if that's a disappointment, then that's pretty good going. Charles Leclerc.
Team orders. I literally all I've got is team orders on this. The whinge bag. No, of course he's not going to give up a third place. It's not going to affect your life really, to be honest. And no one really cares if you come second. So it's a bit of a non-team orders to not allow your teammate to have a podium. It would have been a very sour podium.
Yeah, I think it's fine when it's odd positions, but when you're taking a podium or a race win away from
anything 5 and above, you're sort of fighting for those spaces.
Yeah, it's not
anything 5 and below, grand team orders all the way. But I don't think that was right, and there was nothing. I don't think he was going to gain that much. I don't know who's in what with the constructors, with the teams.
Well, Leclerc and Perez are level on points.
Okay.
So if Leclerc had been let past, then he would have been.
But I also think had Leclerc been let past, then Perez would have been let past.
Well, they told Max to let Perez pass, didn't they? And he didn't. He refused.
Yeah.
And he said he wasn't going to.
So that would have gained him 2 extra points. No, Leclerc still would have been above him by 3 points. Yeah, but fuck it. It doesn't matter. Is there going to... I wonder if there's a extra pay packet between 2 and 3. Coming to second
there
or
is,
third.
yeah. And also, but Red Bull have won everything in this sport, but they've never had 2 drivers finish first and second in the championship. That's the one thing they haven't ever done. So they want this. And they've said
apart from Max doesn't.
Yeah. But Max has said that he will help him in Abu Dhabi, but he had his reasons for doing it before. So, yeah, odd, very odd. Okay, so who's next then? I've lost where I am.
Sainz.
Clicked off it now. I've clicked off race results. There we are.
Carlos Sainz Jr.
That's me, isn't it? Carlos Sainz. There's not Junior because there's no other Carlos Sainz in Formula One.
Well, according to the Google here, it says Carlos Sainz Jr.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he is Carlos Sainz Jr., but there's no other Carlos Sainz in Formula One, so I call him Carlos Sainz. Yeah, I thought he had the pace to win the race. The tear off in the brake duct.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
That meant that he had to go into a kind of a halfway house strategy where it's kind of a 2-stop, kind of a 3-stop, and then the safety car turned it into a 3-stop because that was the only obvious thing to do. It got him a podium, but I do think he would have been in with a shout of winning the race had he not had that tear off in the brake duct, which is a bit of a shame. I love Carlos. Out of the 2 Ferrari drivers, I'd love it if he were to win the championship. But yeah, I don't, where are they? What's their driver standings? How close are they together? Because Sainz has had 234 to 290. Yeah, Sainz had so much bad luck in the second half of the season. Yeah. I think he could have been a lot closer than that. But he's even behind. He's even behind Hamilton now.
Oh,
Jesus, even behind Hamilton now. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure you'll talk about it now. But George Russell and Lewis Hamilton, George is going to finish ahead of Lewis. Unless Lewis wins and gets the fastest lap.
Oh, come on, Lewis.
Go on, Lewis. Over to you.
I mean, Lewis got driver of the day. I don't know whether that was more out of pity than anything else. I couldn't quite work it out. I was like, he's had a good drive, but I'm not sure he's driver of the day. Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
He did all of the overtakes, but
obviously, but every single overtake he did. He just kept falling back and going forward again.
They were all him.
I don't know, grand enough, but I don't think he was driver of the day in my mind. But yeah, I mean, fair play. I'm glad they had team orders or no team orders, which was interesting.
Yeah.
So if he could have caught up, he should have caught up, but he wasn't, because he wasn't as good a driver on the day.
I think he was the only driver that actually made those medium tyres work.
Yeah.
That's one good thing for him. And I think
he's pretty good at doing that anyway.
Yeah, and if he'd have carried on, because he had a big offset on those tyres, if he'd have carried on those mediums, then fortune would have favoured him. The safety car would have come out when Norris retired, and then he would have jumped Russell and potentially won the race. It would have been fortuitous. It would have been galling for George. George absolutely deserved the win on that one, which I'll talk about now. George Russell, not a perfect weekend for him. Very, very good weekend, but the spin in qualifying, just that was very lucky that the rain was coming down then, or that would have ruined his qualifying and potentially his race. But he got out the pits, he put the lap in. He was out before Hamilton in Q3, got the lap in. Hamilton was unlucky, getting held up by Perez and Leclerc. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, he did the 1-2, didn't he?
Yes, he won. He got the sprint win and the Grand Prix win.
Yeah.
And so that sprint race, he raced a bloody good race in the sprint.
Yeah. How can I make this bad? Because I don't like him being good and winning fairly.
I'm not sure you can. The only thing you've got is the qualifying session.
Yeah.
But even then, he qualified third.
Yeah, that wasn't horrific, was it?
I mean, there was the spin and then trying to spin it around.
Oh,
and
yeah, but
that was funny. But...
Yeah. Well, no, to be fair on him, he didn't want to hit the wall, so he spun around and gravel trapped it instead of ruining the car. So it was very clever, actually. So I can't even complain about that. And yeah, he was third, but it doesn't really matter because the rain would have come in anyway. So there was a chance that it wouldn't, if there would have been a few more laps with dry, but I still think he would have been up there. Yeah, he's a dick for putting in the gravel trap. That's literally the only thing I can think of.
So he gets dick of the day for that.
Yeah. Gets dick of the day for winning.
Okay, so is there anything else you want to talk about on that? We have a look at the standings. As we've already kind of covered there, Verstappen won, Leclerc. Perez and Leclerc tied. Russell can only get second or third in the championship if he wins and gets the fastest lap. And there's no points scored for Perez and Leclerc. Hamilton can pass Russell if he wins and gets the fastest lap, and Russell gets no points. Yeah. Carlos Sainz could potentially pass Hamilton, but can't pass Russell. Lando Norris on his own. No one's going to pass him. He's not going to pass. He's finished 7th. Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso. That's an interesting battle. 5 points between Alonso and Ocon now. And given how many points Fernando Alonso has lost due to unreliability this year, Ocon's lost some as well. But I'm now fully turned around on Fernando Alonso. It's taken 41 years.
Don't tell Bez.
It's taken 41 years for me to actually like him, but he's
You just came out of the womb going, I fucking hate the Spanish.
Basically, yeah. Not the Spanish, just Alonso. Bottas, again, on his own, going to finish 10th. Not a bad return for him. Vettel, 1 point ahead of Ricciardo for 11th. There's nothing really that I'm sure they don't care what happens there. Vettel and Ricciardo both leaving the sport. Who's going to win out of that small battle? I'm sure they don't care.
Out of who?
Vettel and Ricciardo.
No one cares.
Kevin Magnussen, 25. Pierre Gasly, 23. Lance Stroll, 14. Mick Schumacher, 12. Tsunoda, 12. I mean, it's still... Tsunoda this year has been a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, but he always has been a letdown.
I really thought he was going to be closer to Gasly this year.
No, you didn't.
I did.
I don't think so.
Go back and listen to the pre-season show. I'm sure I said that Tsunoda would either beat or be closer to Gasly. And but I mean, Gasly's been pretty poor this year, and Tsunoda's still got half the points that Gasly's got.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's scored 1 point since Spain, and he's retired from 5 races.
Yeah.
In that time. Zhou, I mean, the thing is with Zhou, everyone says what a great season he's had, but Bottas has got 49 points. Zhou's got 6.
Yeah, but it's rookie year.
Yeah, but it's a bad return. It's a bad. I mean, I still think he's done okay.
Hang on, look at who he's surrounded by though. Like Tsunoda, Mick, they're all down there.
Yeah, but he's got the better car out of all of them.
Oh, has he though?
Yeah, I think so.
No. Like that Alpha was grand. It had the Ferrari engine, but it did exactly the same as what Haas did. It was all spunk and glory in the first few months.
It was great. It was great at the start.
And then it dropped down again.
Yeah, maybe if it was the other way around, if it started slow and finished fast, then he'd scored more points. But even so, Bottas has still been, by far the better driver, which I suppose you'd expect.
But then he is. So, it's not really a comment, right, Tom?
But he's coming into the team on low confidence after being spanked by Lewis Hamilton for 5 years, and then coming in against this new, hot shot, this new pay driver.
Yeah.
I just thought he'd be closer to Bottas. So I'm a little bit. Yeah, he's done fine. I was kind of hoping.
I think he's worth keeping him for another season.
Yeah, you've got to give him another season, absolutely. But if
I think it's the right choice, especially as they're going to go into Audi eventually.
If he's this far off Bottas next year, then I'm not convinced.
When does Audi start? 2024 or 2026?
2026. It's a long way off. It's a long way off, yeah.
Yeah.
Albon 4 points, Latifi 2 points, tied with Nick De Vries and Nick, who's done one race, and Nico Hulkenberg, who's done 1 or 2. Can't remember now.
1.
But Hulkenberg's got no points, obviously. But he will be. Do you know what? Hulkenberg has been on the standings every year. Yet he's not been in a full-time job since 2019, and yet he's been in the standings every year.
Well, he'll be in the standings next year. Still have no points.
He'll probably get points next year, but you say that it depends how good the Haas is, because I think
I don't know if they've spunked all the money on this year. I'm intrigued as to what's going to happen next year because having a minor breach hasn't seemed to really affect Red Bull. So, if that was me still, I'd be spunking all the money I can this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's how I would have done it.
Difficult
I'd be like, fuck it. Once we get up there, fuck the wind turbo time.
So, driver of the day then. What do you reckon?
I think Alonso.
I'm undecided. I still can't decide.
I'm probably more decided on that as to who my dick of the day is.
For me, it's either Russell, Sainz, Hamilton, Alonso. It's one of those 4.
You're just naming the field.
It's one of those 4. It is one of those 4. I think you
top
can't give
4
it
out of 5. Yeah,
you can't give it to Hamilton because although he didn't get a penalty, he did contribute towards the reason why he didn't win the race, and that was his collision with Verstappen, which you haven't actually spoken about. We should talk about that.
We should talk about that. It was Hamilton. It was Verstappen's fault.
I still think racing incident. I said that.
Verstappen's fault.
I think Verstappen.
Supposedly everyone was like, "Oh no, it's Hamilton's fault." How was that Hamilton's fault? He drove into him.
It wasn't Hamilton's fault.
He drove into him.
Verstappen's trajectory when he came into the turn, he was launching into that corner.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter that he was alongside because he was never going to make the corner at that speed. So it wasn't. He was
completely out of control on that right-hand turn and then hit him into the left-hand turn.
I do have to say, initially, I thought, oh, that looks like that's Hamilton's fault. Initially, but then when I went back and saw it and saw just how much speed he was carrying into
stop
the corner.
Agreeing with me because it's no fun.
What, me?
Yeah.
Or was it Tom Downey in the chat?
Oh, is Tom Downey alive?
He is. Well, he's alive, definitely. Yeah, he's in the chat.
Oh, Tom Downey's here.
Yeah. No, I'm not agreeing with you. I'm just saying that you say it's Verstappen's fault and I say it's a racing incident. But
we're too late, Tom. I've already complained about it far too much.
I just thought that one potentially might be a little bit harsh on Max, given that he was pretty self-policing. He had to get a new front wing.
Yeah.
But Hamilton did get some damage as well, which does contribute as well to his performance. Sainz did absolutely nothing wrong and raced very well. I think I'm going to give it to Russell, much to your chagrin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving it to George Russell.
You're giving it to George Russell, are you?
I am, yeah. I've decided. It's George Russell. Okay, Dick of the day?
George Russell.
Let's do the jingle.
Who's our Dick of the day?
George Russell.
Why? Give me one good reason.
Because he won. I can't complain about him. That's such a really dickish move. I've got people bullying me on YouTube here. Because he can't just do something dickish for once. I have to suffer the fact. So that's a really dick move.
I mean, the dick of the day's got to be Max Verstappen, hasn't it?
For his. No, that's the dickish move of the day. Yeah. If I can't have one, I'll have the other. But Max Verstappen.
It's got to be Max. But that just ridiculous outburst was just don't do your dirty dishes in public. That's just this.
I mean, to be fair, Leclerc's a strong second after that.
Well, no, I think Leclerc's different because Leclerc just asked for it, and then asked for it again
and again. I feel like we only heard 2 of the 20 times.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
It's by the time it was like, think of the points.
Yeah.
Think of the standings.
Think of the standings.
Think of the standings. He sounds like one of those like posh rich women in like the revival plays. Think of the children.
Yes.
Think of the points and think of, I don't know why he sounds so English. The most French man going. Well, I guess man going, and he sounds English, posh English woman to me. Anyway.
Right.
Think of the children.
So that's kind of. He
sounds like a pantomime character. Think of the children. This tumble pot.
Yes, I agree. So that's kind of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix sorted.
Anyway, what were we talking about? We were going to talk about something.
We were going to talk about the Hamilton Verstappen crash, which we kind of did.
Yeah.
Norris Leclerc crash. Norris's fault.
Quite boring.
Nailed on, really.
Yeah.
There was nothing else really of any interest, really. Just the Alpines clash in the sprint. Yeah, I mean, Sao Paulo's a great race, and the sprint worked there.
Yeah, I quite liked it.
It's a good weekend all around.
That was the first time it's been back there, hasn't it? Since
no, we were there last year.
Were we?
Yeah.
I have literally no memory of that track.
Okay, so you have no memory at all of Lewis Hamilton starting 20th and fighting to 5th in the sprint and then coming through from 10th and winning.
Yeah, I do remember.
And then the whole thing with going alongside Max Verstappen and Max driving him off track and all that.
Oh, was that one? Oh, I do have memory.
Yeah.
I quite like that track then.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good one. It's just a shame that everything outside the track is all poverty and gunshots and stuff. And
I mean, it's mad. You know when they do like these aerial shots?
Yeah.
Do you notice that? They did this aerial shot, and it just looked like this like falling down building, which load of people hanging out of. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, they got the favelas just out there where they got literally just like ramshackle houses put up on the hill outside the circuit, and it's just like the fact that they even exist, and they got this. You've got this whole kind of other world,
£1 billion
Formula One just around the corner. It's just shocking, but there's always security issues there, and they are always having to they've got armed gunmen escorting.
Although it looked less manic than Mexico.
Yeah, it's because no one can afford the tickets anymore.
Yeah, Mexico's fucking nuts.
Yes, it is. Fucking nuts it is. So Abu Dhabi then, last race coming up. Hopefully we'll do a podcast after it.
Yeah, hopefully we'll do a podcast and help.
Not going to make any promises, but yeah, we should do.
But it's very, very boring.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what's happening this year because last year we had all those changes to the track, which we didn't really talk about because obviously of what happened at Abu Dhabi last year. So, seeing these new cars around this circuit now might be a decent race. I mean, you can overtake in Abu Dhabi. Nice. You can overtake in Abu Dhabi, but there's only really 2 places you can overtake, and you have to be a lot faster. But with these new cars, you might be able to follow closer. So it's possible.
I still don't think it's going to be the answer to all our questions about a shit race.
No, it's still you can't just stick.
What time's that race on? 2:00.
It's European time, so yeah, it should be kind of normal time-ish.
I don't have to watch late at night and early in the morning again.
No, I like the out-of-hours Grand Prix.
No, I don't. I fell asleep during circuit. I fell asleep during
Mexico. I did not.
I fell asleep during both those. Woke up. Was awake for the whole of Brazil. And luckily didn't have to drive down. But I ended up staying in Kerry yesterday, so I could watch it. Otherwise, I'd have been down here, and I wouldn't have watched it because I'd been driving.
While we're talking about potential podcasts, though, we might maybe be doing one together. Maybe, possibly.
Who?
You and me, maybe.
With what?
Possibly podcasting.
We are doing that now
in the same room.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because you're coming back to Old Blighty for a few days.
Yes, I haven't even thought about that. I haven't thought about that. I forgot that I was even coming. Yes, I'm coming over.
Yay.
Because you haven't come over and seen your godson yet, but we won't.
I haven't. No. I was talking to Emily just the other day about this.
Yeah, I'm coming over 5th to the 8th. So yes, we might be in the same room. Although Ben might have to listen to me doing a podcast. But anyway. Yeah, I'm over for those few days. Going to Old Blighty back home.
Cool. And I will be over to Ireland next year. Absolutely. Guaranteed. We were saying we're gonna book it as a holiday. We'll go there for like 5 days or something, and maybe do a bit of a tour around the country, and then stop in for a couple of days round in Kerry.
We'd love that.
Good. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's because I know I've got those vouchers that he got me to fly over to see him. Bless him, love him to pieces. And we need to talk offline about his birthday as well.
Oh yeah, he's grown a lot. He's
I have no idea what to buy the kid anymore.
No, nor have I. Actually, I've got an idea.
Cool. We will chat offline about it then. Cool.
Right,
I want to talk about that. Should we?
Okay.
Should we just quickly do some predictions before we go?
Oh Jesus, Abu Dhabi. What are we doing? What are our predictions? Pole.
We normally just do pole, win,
and hot take.
And a hot
pole. Pole Verstappen, win Hamilton, hot take. Someone fucks up someone else's chances.
That's
in the
quite
sense,
vague.
No, but in the sense of getting second or third. So Sainz fucks up Leclerc.
Oh, well, a teammate.
A teammate fucks up their own chances.
Okay. I'm going
Hamilton
to go...
fucks up Russell,
I'm going to go for a second Mercedes-powered win.
Okay.
Which is basically Mercedes, because no other Mercedes-powered car is going to win. A second Mercedes win of the season. Which would mean that my prediction pre-season, well, not pre-season, my prediction early season of saying that Red Bull and Ferrari will start quick, but Mercedes will finish the season with the quickest car. And if Mercedes are quick in Abu Dhabi, then I think we have to say that Mercedes have had the quickest car in the final stage of the season because they've been competitive. Austin, Mexico, Brazil, and then if they're competitive in Abu Dhabi as well, then we've got to say, look, they now have a competitive car. So, yeah, that's my take. Cool. We're going to get out of here and we're going to discuss birthday stuff.
And I'm already looking.
Night. Love you.
But it doesn't sound like that anymore.
Jesus Christ, he doesn't sound like that anymore.
Right. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.